Hello everyone. Before I start in on today's topic, I'd like to take a moment of silence for my goatee, which was lost this morning in a tragic shaving accident. I'm gonna miss you, little guy. Amen. Okay. Today's topic is narrative choices. Basically, one of the biggest things, probably the biggest thing that Shyamalan came under fire for was the script. It was all over the place. It was terrible. And it was because he made really poor narrative choices. He claimed to be a big fan of the show. I saw no evidence of that, judging from the finished product of the film. He said he got the show. If he did, I think he got it only on the most superficial level, because he seemed to know what the fuck he was talking about half the time. He really seemed like he was just talking out of his ass. And, he didn't really have a good decision-making process, which I think led to really bad narrative choices, which led to a shitty script. So, in order to avoid replicating that mistake, I am taking extremely delicate care in what I decide to put in the film and what I decide to cut from the film. And the script, I don't have the money to make a film. I'm still paying off this computer. But, I thought, as a token of good faith from me to you, I would let you guys in on my creative process and let you play around in my head for a little bit and see what goes on in there. Don't be too scared. It's not that bad. And just let you know how I'm making those decisions and those narrative choices. There are three factors, really, in my book, in the way I go about things, that factor in to how those choices are made, the first of which is time. If you were to make a direct adaptation, like scene for scene, the movie would be 7.5 hours long, and that's just too much. It's too much to ask of anybody. I mean, people have to pee. It's just too much. 3 hours, 3.5, that's a nice Lord of the Ringsy length I think we can all get down with. Gives you time to build the world, establish and develop the characters, and let the story unfold in a nice organic way. Now, a little trick of the trade that some of you may or may not know is that due to the format of screenplay, a page of screenplay comes out to about a minute of screen time. It's not an exact science, but it's a fairly reliable approximation that helps writers to gauge the pacing of the script they're writing. So, given that, and the projected time we're looking at, 3 to 3.5 hours, we're looking at a 180 to 210 page script. No problem. I'm down with that. So that handles length. The next thing we have to take into account is rhythm. There are certain peaks and valleys and advances and setbacks, and there's a whole rhythm to storytelling, especially film. And that needs to be taken into account when you're adapting a long-running series, because even a show with an ongoing storyline like Avatar, each episode has its own individual conflict that needs to be set up, have characters introduced around it, and resolved. And in order for that episode to feel kind of full and satisfying, there need to be twists and turns to the story. There need to be, ways that it kind of turns a corner and takes shape, and clues, and all that stuff. And when we're talking about one episode, all that complication looks great. But if we're condensing 20 episodes into one cohesive narrative, it looks like ADD. It's too much shit going on. It's more information than the audience needs. It's more information than an audience can keep track of. And considering that you have a limited amount of time to develop each of these plot points, you had 22 minutes before. Now you have 22-minute episodes, 7.5 hours, condensed down to 3. You've killed 4 hours. So either you have everything, but it's really short, or you just let some stuff go. And that's where some of those choices come in. And one of the major rhythm issues is, because of the storyline, would exploring this element or this character fit in to the narrative that you're telling, or would you have to make a massive departure from the storyline to include it? It's an unfortunate thing. I am trying really, really hard right now to find a way to include Boomy, because I love Boomy. I love Boomy long time. He is like one of my favorite characters. And I know I'm going to need him later, but the more I think about it, I'm like, there's not really a lot that he does in the story. He's not really all that important. And that's what we come to the third criterion thing. Wow, that was eloquent. Which is relevance. There is a big difference between what is cool and what is important. They're not always the same. You know, sometimes they are, but not all the time. You know, and the trouble with something like Avatar is that Avatar is a show that is full of cool shit. I mean, you have people pointing their fists at solid ground, ripping up huge boulders, and chucking them at people. You got other people creating massive tidal waves. You got the Blue Spirit with his like crazy fucking ninja shit going on, which just looks great. You know, you got archers that can, you know, totally pinpoint their target from, you know, yards away. You know, you got all this stuff in this show, which is very, very badass. But you don't need all of it. You don't. And they're very painful decisions to make, because you want to have it there. I want to have it there. You know, I can count on one hand the number of things in season 1 that I'm like, I don't give a shit. You know, they're painful losses, and especially for something like Boomy. You know, and believe me, I have not given up on this yet, I swear to you. I'm looking for a way to include him in the script. But it's a hard thing to do because, you know, you have a whole episode of a guy where the whole episode is pretty much to introduce a character that doesn't really do anything. Like the entire Omashu incident, it just, you know, you don't really need it. So, I'm working on that. But that's just sort of an example. So you have all these things that you want to have in there. You know, things that you love, things that we as the audience love about Avatar. But you got to make some choices. And no matter what you choose, you're going to get hurt. You're going to lose something. So, I mean, I think the only thing that no one's going to miss is the Great Divide. Aside from that, you know, it's going to be tough. But at least we can let that go with a good conscience. But anyway, you know, I'm writing this script and I created this group because I have questions. I'm not 100% sure of what I'm doing, and I want to have an open dialogue with fellow Avatar fans. You know, I don't think of you. I mean, it's not like you're my fans. Fuck that. I mean, we're all fans of Avatar. You know, I'm just the one that's writing the script right now. And if any of you are out there writing your own Avatar scripts, more power to you. Let's have a party, you know. But we're all Avatar fans together, and we love this show. And it's very important to me that you understand that I'm not Shyamalaning this. I'm not changing shit for the sake of changing it, or to put my stamp on it, or to make it mine. You know, a film by M. Night Shyamalan. Fuck you, dude. Avatar is not yours. You know, you are a fucking humble servant of something much bigger than you, and you should be fucking happy with that. And that's pretty much how I'm looking at it. I'm just a guy with typewriter. Well, not a typewriter, but a keyboard. And, you know, I'm doing this for myself and for all my fellow fans, and I'm not going to change shit just to change it because I'm fucking high on myself. You know, that's some, like, auteur bullshit that I hate directors for. You know, it's just, it's arrogant and self-serving, and I'm not about that. Which is why I created this group, so that I could have an open dialogue with you guys. So please email me with questions, you know, comment on the status updates, you know, anything. I will be making periodic video updates, discussing future topics. I think the next one is going to be about structure, and about chronology, and how I'm deciding what stuff is going to go where in the sequence of events. And, you know, until then, just know that I'm one of you, and that my only agenda in all of this is to make the best script that I can make, so we can all have ourselves a good laugh over it. And that's it. So until next time, we're all on the same team. We're on Team Avatar. And until next time, just please keep my goatee in your thoughts. And I'm gonna get through this. And one day, when I've had time to heal, move on, maybe I'll get a new goatee. I'll talk to you soon, guys.